Hey, what is up guys, Master here, back to do another cast, and today I'm going to be casting another game. I'm going to provide some dub commentary because I see that you guys have received the last couple of videos like this rather well, so I've got another pretty sick game and I feel like quality over quantity is the way to go. So I'm just going to include a single game in this video, plus it's easier for me. I don't need to dedicate a lot of time to it. That last video I posted with the 8-game series was a lot of work. I had to edit that whole series, create a scoreboard for it, even remove the bottom left UI portion of the game so I can accommodate the scoreboard. That sort of thing took a while, but these sort of videos are easier to pump out, and I can just talk away and watch myself play. I can just sit here all lazy and just watch myself pan the camera. How about that, guys? I don't have to do anything aside from talking to a microphone, which is just awesome. So I'm going to be black-handed in this game. I'm going to be playing against Senna. Tournament, or rather Tiberium Rift, is a really played map. I agree, it's played a lot, but classic map nonetheless. It's basically Tournament Rift with no spike poker. Blue tip field in the middle of the map. An instant classic, this one. Would be interesting to see how the Predator version of this map plays today. There was a version made by him, very pretty, has better lighting and terrain texturing. But I believe the fields weren't balanced, they weren't symmetrical. I think if I recall correctly, the right field on the top was a little bit nearer to the player than the left player's field. So I'm going for a flame tank rush versus another Nod faction. I'm not particularly sure what Nod he is just yet, but I see that Raider buggy there. I may have spotted the faction, but I just wasn't looking. Got the flame tank, which versus Nod is a really poor choice most of the time. But I'm going to try make this work. I'm going to target down that spike because it's basically a guaranteed kill. I made a harvester, 3 on my field now, and I'm queuing bikes because I know this flame tank can absorb a lot of damage. It starts off as a veteran flame tank, so it gets 25% more armor if I recall correctly. Fire rate's increased by 15%, but yeah, you get 25% more armor. Scorpion tank comes out for Senna. Those don't do too much damage. Not particularly threatened by that. It's really the bikes that are going to kill this unit. I'll go ahead and quickly take out this flame tank. I really could have just avoided that though and gone to his base because the Black Hand Squad would have killed the spike anyways. So that was some time there that I could have spent going to his base before he had a lot of units out. The trick I did here was put my bikes on separate control groups so I can focus down his bikes with 2 of my own, but I should have had those on hold fire. Flame tank will be drawing in a lot of fire. He has to kill these the flame tank because it's killing his base. The refinery falls. The flame tank still alive, going for his power plant now. That's pretty incredible. He went to War Factory and I was still able to kill that flame tank. The bikes that came afterwards, I used to kill his bikes. I just nailed like 3 of his, so that made the trade a little bit better for me. I killed the refinery and a couple of his bikes. So the counterattack won't nearly be as oppressive. I am Blackhand, so I've got really good infantry and holding back a swift and vicious counterattack such as this. I'm starting to work on my Black Disciples. This is a 1-base Black Disciple. I've only got 1 power plant, as you can tell, my base. 1 singular power plant. There's not power plants for the upgrades. Incredibly good at outputting power. That's my whole power production. The MCV provides a little bit, but not too much. And that's going to be enough for me to move out and expand. I'm waiting to get this Black Disciples upgrade. And I'm starting to queue Blue Flame because in this matchup, from my recent experience, I found the Blue Flame to be really good at countering Scorpion tanks, because you know how Scorps like to crush infantry? Well, the Blue Flame on the Disciples decreases the chance of the Flame tank making it alive to your imps. So it's really good as a close-in weapon that can do some DPS against those tanks. Now, if you are overwhelmed with tanks, then that's not going to work out for you. Fanatics is the way to go. If you're in a situation where you have to deal with like 20 or so tanks and you've got a barracks down, you just need to build Fanatics, because Fanatics can't get crushed. They blow up, and they just blow up, man. You can't crush them. And they'll kill the tanks. They got pretty good AoE damage as well. Didn't want to buff them in R19. I found them to be rather balanced as they are. Though they do take a lot of gun damage in this game without Tib Infusion. The armor template says that it takes 200% gun damage without Tiberium infusion, and that drops to 100% with Tib infusion. So it basically becomes twice as armored with Tiberium infusion. So I've got all these bikes again on the control groups. As I said in the beginning, I put my bikes into pairs. It does require micro this. This is not an easy thing to pull off, but I've managed to get all the attack orders in. Better to have them on hold fire when you're doing that, otherwise they'll just waste their shots on a buggy before they actually engage the target. You see that he's taking blue Tiberium there. He's only got Raider buggies. I did a good job at cleaning up his bikes. My Harv still is in danger. I'm going to have to pull that one back. Blue Flame about to complete Harvester of mine, going back to base. I'm hoping I can buy some time by trying to target his Harvester while mine gets away. So I've got that Blue Flame upgrade, and I see that I've got it, and I'm going to queue a tier 2 for a couple flame tanks, because I know that's the best unit I can deploy on this map. Blue Flame tanks with Blue Flame. The DPS increase is absolutely insane. But first I need to put down the laser turret here, just to deal with this Raider buggy threat. And that will deter that. I've got the barracks there with the lanterns. The black hand of Nod has orange lanterns, whereas the Nod one will get the green ones for the Confessor upgrade. I just like that. Visually, it looks nice. I saw it in the Tiberium Wars concept arts, but it never made it to the final game. Now I'm beginning to start queuing these flame tanks. Harvester, for some reason, is going back to the blue Tiberium. You need to be very careful. If you send a Harvester to another Tiv field, it will auto-rally back to that field unless you give it another order specifically. Didn't transfer my Harvesters to the expansion sooner. That's a common mistake I see a lot from players. The quicker you transfer to your second field before your first one runs dry, the better it's going to be for me, just so you don't stall on cash, which is really important at this stage of the game, because you can get snowballed out. But I'm starting to queue these flame tanks, and I'm sending them across the map, hoping to get one in. But he's found one out. He's queuing buggies to that flame tank in the bottom. And I've got two marching through the middle of the map. I'm just hoping that one gets in. I don't mind if I lose 5 flame tanks, but if I kill a refinery in his expansion, then that for me is worth it. And these rank up incredibly quickly too, because they only cost $1,200, and their damage output relative to their cost is insane. So these all rank up really quickly if one manages to get in. Laser turret though will inflict quite a bit of damage onto that flame tank. The other flame tank gets cleaned up. Senna's doing a very good job here. It's very commendable how he is dealing with these flame tanks. I did kill a refinery, but that's not much use to him anymore, because he probably has 2 on that field. Probably forgot to sell the one there. Refineries do get you $700 now, because it was $500 before, and that was actually a bug, because like I mentioned in my last video, the Harvester was reduced to $1,600 in 1.02. And if you subtract $2,000 from $3,000, the cost of a refinery, that's $1,000. And if you divide that by 2, that becomes $500. Whereas with a $1,600 Harvester, that's $700 with the same math. But yeah, I'm getting hit here by 2 sides. I've got these purifiers out of Blue Flame. If he approaches these purifiers, he's going to get burned down to a crisp. But this is a very unorthodox game. Usually I'm the one going for bike buggy and scorpion tank tactics, but here I'm the one going for the Redeemer. Rarely do you see me build epic units in general. I'm just not someone to build them. I usually gravitate more towards light tier 1 units. But this game I'm going for heavier tech units this game. He's got scorpion tanks. I think Sen is more inclined to try out Scorps because they got a Dozer blade buff. They now are exactly the same as the Xbox version of Kane's Wrath, or 1.0 or 1.01. In fact, I'm pretty sure all versions of this game had plus 25% armor when upgrading Dozer blades. It's just 1.02 where that changed. I believe the reasoning was that nod mirrors had them every game. It was just impossible for players to stop them in nod mirrors, I was told. But what a better time to see if that was right or not. We've got a knob mirror here. Lots of scorpion tanks versus infantry and purifiers. Purifiers $2,800 though, R19. Blue Flame DPS unchanged. He's rolling through this base. That Purifier is going to get in close and inflict major damage with its flamethrower. Power plant upgraded will be destroyed. That's going to put me low on power. Look how damaging that is. Just losing a singular one of those is pretty devastating for Nod. It's one of their weaknesses, just how much power output those upgraded ones have. They cost $1,000 once you get the upgrade, and they're really vulnerable. You can hit those with Tear of Agitation, but only the vanilla Nod one. I was going to patch it so the sub-faction Nod power plants could be targeted by Tiberium Agitation of the Ravager, but that's probably going to be for R20. Purifier gets taken out there. Nice work again by C&C3. He's just shutting down my blue flame tanks, but I'm continuing to send in these blue flame tanks. I'm hoping that eventually, while he's dealing with this army of mine, he'll lose sight of one of the units going into his base. But so far he's been playing this out perfectly. He's got an expansion down, 3 Scorpion tanks in my base. I'm running out of Tiberium. I've got hardly any left. My income is dropping substantially. I'm getting infantry, lots of inf out for me as well. I've got that Redeemer, hoping to get a sick rage gen with it. That's my trump card here. If I can get a rage gen off on this Redeemer. Does use the Tiberium Vein Detonation. Senna, no EMP cores on those buggies. If he had those there, I would have been forced to use my rage gen. Another one, the flame tanks gets destroyed, and I've got this Purifier which I'm going to send into his base on aggressive stance, hoping to kill one of his refineries, but the Purifier does get sniped. The 2 obelisks there do shut me down. MCV walking on Tiberium, almost getting destroyed by that obelisk of light there, and the Scorpion tank army is just crushing through. And I know that infantry is a bad option. Like I said in the start of this game, infantry, if I build rocket squads, this is a huge mistake. Instead, I'm queuing Fanatic squads. Fanatic squads is how you shut this down. I'm banking on a couple epic AoE shots with these Fanatics. He's luckily not sticking around here to face this Redeemer. I was hoping that he would, though. I was really hoping that he would. I've got this one flame tank in his base trying to do some counterattack damage. The flame tank army is making its way around me. The Redeemer still lives. It's getting pretty low on health. I'm going to have to pull that back because there's 2 obelisks there. He probably had another one queued but dropped it in that base to deal with the Redeemer. Flame tank in the north killing his base. He doesn't have ground control there anymore. In fact, he does. He's got another MCV. Flame tank killing the War Factory, killing the MCV. And these flame tanks at Black Hand are just insane with that blue flame. I'm actually targeting down the terrain instead of giving an attack command on the building. Because if you guys didn't know, flame tanks reacquire per shot with blue flame. What does that mean? Well, it means if you tell them to just attack a structure, they're going to keep reacquiring the structure, and that's going to inhibit their full DPS potential. So what I suggest you guys do, especially against structures, is to force fire the ground. You'll get more damage out of those blue flame tanks. Redeemer healed up to full health. Somehow miraculously managed to get my army back into position, and Senna here is in this corner, does clean up one of the flame tanks. He's got an expansion set up. Use my rage gen, and he's got quad turrets as well on his defenses. As you can see, quad turret laser turrets, quad turret shredder turrets, no desyncs in R19, guys. If you want to build quad turrets online and not feel worried about causing a desync, then do play R19, guys, because you will be able to do that. Now, the quad turret laser turrets with supercharged particle beams were nerfed to compensate for the 4th turret, so the unupgraded ones are unchanged, but the 4 turrets does the same as 3 turrets with supercharged particle beams in R18 or 1.02. I did that for balance reasons, plus the upgrade is $1,500, 45 seconds respectively. Just because I had fears that factions such as Zocom would struggle to stop that. Plus, we were already dealing with super powerful base defenses. Nod were already very good. Now, this heroic flame tank still alive. He's focusing down my MCV, but I'm going to quickly focus down this Redeemer facility. In like a second, that falls. So he lost that just in a blink of an eye. I got my MCV back out. And this flame tank is just about going to make it out there. The MCV does deploy in that expansion field, and Senna's not going to give it in just yet. He's still committed to this fight. He's got lots of obelisks of light. He's pretty stuck in that corner, and Senna is someone who you can't allow to eco. He's someone who's a tough cookie to crack. But I've got him pretty contained, and this is a good showcase as well on what to do to starve your opponent out of this game. So I'm continuously recycling the rage gen. I'm not in a rush to really kill him just yet, I see that he's not harvesting from his expansion. I've got lots of harvesters of my own. I'm queuing a refinery. Lots of vision, as you can see. There's vision everywhere on this map. And just 1 second while I close this window here. Redeemer does get healed up. And yeah, this is it pretty much for him. He's going through have a real tough time dealing with heroic flame tanks. I've got this infantry here containing his base. So yeah, I'm just frantically scrolling around this map here. The flame tank can actually inhibit him from harvesting that Tiberium. The Senna, understandably, not going to give this one up, but his time will be up soon. I'm going to get down my second refinery, and he probably doesn't realize that I have a war factory. This is something that we can see and he can't. But yeah, he's just unable to harvest anything on this Tiberium field. I'm going to stop him getting any resources at all. He lost his tip spike, so he's basically generating 0 resources, and I know that. Harvester being destroyed. I could even target the Tiberium and kill that Tib with the flame tank, something that Bicrush has proven to be effective in the past. And I'm now beginning to queue these beam cannons just so I can start laying siege on this base, because there's a lot of obelisks there still for him, and these charged particle beam shredder turrets. And I expect him imminently to throw it in. Yeah, he's doing a fire sale here, and Sen is just going to throw it in, and that's going to be GG. So that's a good example of a comeback there, a failed attack, and then I brought it back with that one engagement. It looked like I was doomed with all those Scorpion tanks surrounding my Redeemer, but that was an interesting game because it's a knob mirror, but despite it being a knob mirror, there was 2 vastly different strategies that were used, and I managed to pull that game off there in the end. So that was a fun game, guys, and I hope you all enjoy it. Gonna provide videos like this in the future, so if you like these short but sweet videos with single games, then I can provide you with more of them. You guys seem to enjoy that as well, so I want to thank everyone again for watching this video. If you did like it, then don't forget to give me a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel as well to stay notified of my uploads. And I'd like to thank everyone on my Patreon for continuing to support me and what I do, my 4K mod, the R19 patch, everything. Very much appreciative of your support. If it weren't for you, then I probably wouldn't have found the motivation to do all these projects. But yeah, guys, I want to just end on that. So I'll see you all later. This is Marceleve. Peace out.